我们现在进入季后赛的情况不太明朗，下面我们要对阵京东，然后我们两个队伍的话，因为是电商嘛，所以说我们在跟他们打的时候会用尽全力去跟他们打。上赛季我们跟京东是后半段是同分的，然后打到后面他们已经超过我们进入季后赛，然后我们上赛季是没有打进季后赛的，但是这个赛季的话，我们是很想打进季后赛。接下去的每一场比赛，我们都会用尽全力去跟他们打，然后争取赢下每一场比赛。
Definitely personal for Suning in many ways, more than one.
What do you mean?
I mean, you know, they've got the
e-commerce
behind them, and also for themselves, the fact that they had to make it last split, and also the fact that JG made it over them. So coming into this split, they really want to. This is what you're meant to say, Raz, but I'm going to say it myself.
I thought you had a joke
It's meant to be a setup. It's meant to be. It is like we're at a golfing course, and the tee was set up, and you were meant to go for it, and you didn't do anything, Raz. You didn't do anything, so I said it myself.
I thought you were setting up a joke. No, I understand. Like, I agree. No, 100% I agree. So, like, we get to a point, it lights up, where both these, the organization for both of these teams do have expectations. Last time, Suning Gaming did lose in a really close setting, and I think that Suning Gaming were slated to being able to take it to JD, and it was really the last series that decided it.
Yep.
JD coming out ahead, just because of the players' creativity a lot of the times. And so, it feels like shoes on the other foot now.
Yep.
Where you're in a position where Suning Gaming, of course, they're not in direct competition. JD is flying across the board, but just based off standard play. And while it's Suning Gaming, that's a lot more creative based off the current meta, the bottom lane that you see Fury now playing Ahri a lot more. You're seeing these kill lanes come across, and it's really just Suning Gaming that's finding that creative touch.
Yeah, and it's that, and also they're very explosive once they find it, right? Because we saw at the start, it seemed like JD actually having a pretty good start to the game, to be honest, and then it all flipped and flipped on a dime essentially, and all what's the phrase? Turned on a dime. That's the one. Turned on a dime. All turned on a dime when it came mid game, and you had that big fight around the mid lane, right? And it's just like if we're talking about team fights right here, if that's always going to happen because they leave themselves with more options because they are more creative, then it seems like in the long run, if you play like 100 games between these two teams, assuming maybe they win, 70% of the time.
And the composition from JD was very straightforward in the sense that they didn't have many, like, it's really, you have to worry about the Leona, the Maokai, maybe the Camille. 3 picks, so if you can track where the Maokai is because Gnar is pushing up in the lane, you don't have to worry about him. Even the CC getting, or at least the TP getting cancelled, you don't have to worry about that one. Look towards bottom lane, Leona, if you can track where Leona's going, then great. The only real point of, I would say, tracking you have to do is the Camille. And the Camille was really non-existent for the first 3 minutes of the game. Tries to go bottom lane for a counter gank, but it was too slow. And so when the Camille could have went mid lane or top lane, didn't happen. And so it's a criticism while they had a lead to begin with, but it made it so, defensively speaking, Suning Gaming could do a lot more with their composition, be a lot more creative around the multiple engage points that they had. While if you look towards JD, they're just trying to farm up for Zai because they already had the gold, but she didn't have the items just yet.
Yep.
So that was one thing where it's like JD looking at this composition means that Zoom is probably like, all right, give me more freedom. Because that was a rough one, and I feel like if you put me on Maokai duty for 2 games in a row, we're doing it wrong with how successful I've been in the last few series. So I think that's going to be the case going into game 2.
I think so too. I think Zoom is not only just successful in the last few series, but I think just as a player, you give him something where he can actually like win the lane by himself, and he probably will, to be honest. I can't actually think of a top lane player on the top of my head who is going to consistently win against Zoom.
100%.
In the LPL.
That's the thing right now. This is why it's so interesting, because I feel last few series, because he's been a Superman last few series. So like throughout the split, he's been incredibly consistent as a player. Team fights out, like off the charts. But then if you come to the last few series, especially just on this patch alone, he has been the best top laner this patch, and he's going up against Xiao, which is already just really fun to see.
True.
So just based off of 2 of these top laners going up against each other, I wanted to see some action. And what I got was an incredibly defensive Maokai play because they were holding it all in for that team fight that never really came out.
Exactly, and I think by the time we did see a team fight, I mean, we had that kind of spaghetti team fight in the mid lane where they came in one by one, but then we had team fights later and it was already too far gone. When the Ahri's one-hitting whoever she's up against, whether it is the Maokai or not, that's a serious problem. But Maokai can be strong in his own right. We don't see a lot of it. I think that was our 3rd Maokai of the entire split, but if you do get, good laning phase, get him out of there, then he can start doing things.
That's why I want to see how confident the coaching staff and the players are from JD. Coming back into the series, if they draft essentially the same thing because of that lead that they had, that would be really fun to see. That actually showcases a lot of just inner confidence with the team that they can say, well, actually, we're not going to change anything in terms of the picks because we knew we have a lead because we played well. And the only thing we can look for and that we have faith we can do within this 6 minutes of just talking to each other is to say, hey, in this part of the game, more control wards and more respect to the enemy team in the situation so we just don't start walking off alone against the pick composition. So that's what they could do. But a lot of the times when you're like, well, I don't really have faith in the confidence or like in the discussions we're having. And a lot of the times going into game 1 to game 3 is just like band-aid solutions that you want to have so you look a little bit better. So it's a real telling. I actually don't know because we haven't seen that many losses from JD what we're going to see. Whether we're going to see change in compositions to allow Zoom to get more power, or if they're going to run the same comp and say that the practice is really held true with this comp.
I think that's the biggest thing to me because you just said that we haven't seen a lot of losses from Suning. We've only had 2 serious losses actually for JD over the entire split, and that's obviously, you're right, we haven't seen many of these situations, but you also give them the benefit of the doubt, saying that, well, JD, maybe was this just a single problem? You know, that happened in this first game. Is it ever going to show its ugly head in the second or third game, or are you just going to come back swinging because that's what you expect of you, considering how well you've done this entire split? Yeah,
and even though we showcase JD as the favorites in this series, and by far looking to be second place in their conference going into playoffs unless a few upsets happen here and there, they're a team that is actually, I would say, close in current skill, power ranking to Suning Gaming, because Suning Gaming is playing up currently going into the last stretch of the season. Beating RNG in the fashion in which they did is a team you have to respect early on in the game, and as you can tell based off of this one game alone, that defensively on par. So that's what I want to see coming out of Suning Gaming. They're a team that you still have to watch out for on their run to playoffs.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, you heard it from the man himself. You know, Suning Gaming are definitely still looking at a playoff run. They're robbed of it in spring, but this is the important one. If you're going to make a run, now is the time to do it, Raz, because you could maybe even fight. Imagine Suning at Worlds, Suning World Champions.
Oh my goodness.
It could still happen. This is still a possibility.
You're a dreamer.
Aim high. Shoot for the moon. Speaking of which, we're still both betting that LGD are going to be able to make playoffs as well.
That's true, and that's why I'm a little bit of a monk-ass in this bet, because I have a lot of faith in Suning's current performance.
Me too.
So for Suning to consistently, I would say, play high, even in their losses, which hasn't been frequent. I mean, taking down RNG was already a great notch that they had. Look at the previous ones if I'm just immediately going towards it. Snake and FPX, both of them 2-0s. And sure, they lost to TOP a little while back, 3-game series in that one, and TOP's no pushover themselves. So for Suning Gaming, a lot of respect there. And I don't know if they're going to take 4th or LGD. I'm actually, if you were to ask the brain of Raz, Suning Gaming keeps the spot.
Oh yeah, yeah. We don't listen to the head, Raz, here in the LPL. We listen to the heart. And,
I'm a heart-based analyst.
I don't know if you're watching our first set as well, Raz, but I've recruited another member to team Rice.
What was he thinking?
I don't know.
That was just a Vici set.
He wasn't. I think he was thinking with his heart like we were.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Welcome to the team,
But the smart man would say Suning, because we saw this series and they just smacked JD in game 1, and heading into the second game, there's likely they could do it again. Let's see what they have for us in terms of the draft. I see more creativity. Yeah, get that Ari out of here, along with the Swain and the Trundle. Imagine that. Double bans against Fury.
Hey, they're on blue side, so they can do it. If they're on red side and did, then I would be a little bit worried. That would be the real band-aid.
That's true, yeah.
But for them, they're saying, hey, you know what? Give us the Talia. I mean, Clit is a great early game jungler. Oh, doesn't pick it up. That says a lot, actually. I mean, Clit is a type of jungler that does want to counterpick quite a bit. And ultimately wants to team fight. Talia is not a real strong team fighter. Actually gets railed in certain matchups. So in this setting, the fact that they pick up the Shen and the best early game jungler, especially with Kindred gone, is passed off. I wonder if Hacker picks it up himself.
Yeah, there's so much still on the board for Suning Gaming. They'll look towards the Gnar right here for Shower. Had a great game 1 performance, to be fair. You didn't see a jungler his entire life, so you know, he was totally fine with that. But there's also jungle picks, such as Camille up. Hacker's going to be very, very comfortable going for an aggressive pick.
Wow, this is just them calling on the safety or the fragility of the Talia. Saying that, yeah, sure, Talia is great if you can have the early game damage, pressure, all that stuff. The clear times up against the Camille. But Camille's a little bit creative in that matchup. Waits in a bush, hovers in it, maybe takes 2 buffs, 1 buff, level 2, sees if she can get on top of the Talia. Those are things you have to worry about. Sometimes works incredibly poorly for the Talia. So now passing it off, I very likely won't see a Talia for JD Gaming. Perhaps you'll see a Sejuani, something that's a lot more defensive, knowing that you can farm up against the Camille and try and out team fight it later.
It's going to be an Ezreal pickup here for JD, but also what is more interesting is the Gangplank. Now, it can go to Yagao, but is more than likely going to Zoom, so I'm glad that he's actually going to get some time in the sun, where he doesn't have to play a big old tank in the top lane, but actually he can make some plays happen throughout the game.
Yeah, what the hell? I mean, just looking at this, you just see 2 globals, unless if you're saying 3 because of the Ezreal ulti.
Yeah,
but for them, JD is just saying that we're going to be a part of the play. You can even see the teleport being hovered by Yagao himself, so it seems like JD, last game we're going in the team fight route, but this time around even more so, trying to scale up to that point. So to your point about now Zoom gets power in his own hands on the GP pick,
Yep.
also can just scale up, so I want to see if JD can do that and weather the early game storm from Suning Gaming.
That's what we're going to have to look towards. Rakan is going to be the pickup here for you, regardless of what the AD carry is, and JD see this one coming from a mile away, so it's like, alright, no Xayah for you. Going to have to come with something else here, but Fury, we've already painted the picture. He will pick pretty much anything. Marksman, you know, mage, whatever. I'm still going to be good at it.
I think he should still go towards an AD in this sense. Rakan with a mage is possible, but you get a little bit more out of like an AD carry. I would say an Ashe would be a good pickup for himself.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, I mean, Rakan could go with anything. But remember that he's a bit squishier if you're comparing the engage that he has or provides in comparison to, let's say, an Alistar or literally just any tank support that engages as well. So I would say in this case, we're going to be seeing Suning Gaming to have a little bit more of a passive bottom lane early on. But having the Ashe so you have push potential versus the Ezreal.
Zoe ban there against Yagao. Again, synonymous with the pick. LeBlanc as well, we saw that played just the other day. You're oohing and you're ahhing, but as I said to Clement, don't count your chickens before they've hatched. So we'll wait and see what pick it is in the end.
You just see so many misfortunes that I'm just not surprised. I have to respect
Is that necessarily true? And we've seen like 3 different players.
There are a lot. I mean, sure, players. There's like Y4 who's playing that pick consistently.
Yeah.
But
SNG.
you get to a point where yeah, those players come out and you're like, I think anyone can play it.
Yeah.
There is real value to the pick, so it's not going to come out. It's going to be the Kai'Sa in this sense, in this case. But I would have liked to see the misfortune too.
Yeah. There's still a chance, Raz.
No, there isn't.
Mid lane misfortune. Make it happen.
That
the
sounds
Emperor
like
of
a Rusty
Shurima
thing.
is, yeah, it definitely does. The Emperor of Shurima is going to grace us with his presence into the mid lane, and we're going to have ourselves a Gragas as well. A grand old time. He's going to bring the Grog to the table.
Why are you having 5 scaling picks? I'm yelling at them at this very moment.
Yeah. Yell out. They're on stage, Raz. They can probably hear you yell loud enough.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe the audience can start chanting with me. Gragas, Azir, GP, Ezreal, and Shen.
Say no to scaling.
They're great in team fights, but now they've told the audience, the enemy team, the coach is like, we're going for team fights. So you're going to have to stop us. Early game is going to be crucial for Suning Gaming. Sure, they have the split push route with Gnar later on, but early on is when it matters, because if it goes way too late, then JD has the power to play around these massive neutral camps or objectives.
Oh yeah, 100%. They'll smash him in a team fight. But you've got Hacker in the early game. He's going to be facing down a Gragas. Will be dipping and diving through the jungle. Mid lane, Orianna was the final pickup right there into the Azir. And then bot lane, you've got Kai'Sa and Rakan. So it's not like they don't have a late game insurance ticket themselves.
That's true.
Kai'Sa also does a lot of damage.
I'm just worried that, yeah, sure, you put Kai'Sa, that's a lot of damage later on in the game, and you still get outranged by the Azir. Azir just smashes these mid-range carries. Remember, if you were to think hyper carry, what is the best in a team fight setting 60 minutes?
Vayne.
Well, yeah, I guess. I would say Sivir because in a front to back against tanks, you just get so much damage across without even trying.
That's true, yeah. Took your W.
But then what does Sivir, like Sivir's greatest enemy is an Azir, because you try and walk up to a tank and then you're walking up to about 3 more Sand Soldiers. So the effective range of an Azir is just obnoxious. So Kai'Sa, yeah, sure, if she gets a great flank, or maybe this team fights start well for her, then front to back, she looks great. But that's rough if the Azir has anything to say about it.
Oh yeah, and I mean the other thing with like a Sivir is the fact that she has a spell shield. She's actually pretty okay if Azir's jumping on top of her base. Same thing with Vayne. Got a bit of stealth, got a bit of mobility with the tumble. In Kai'Sa, she's got invisibility, she's got a dash. So there are ways to play around it, though yeah, if you get in range of the meat grinder that is Azir's Sand Soldiers, he will wreck you.
There's just so much utility on the side of JD too. I'm just assuming that the Ezreal is going to go towards like an Iceborne Gauntlet build. If he does go for his Iceborne Gauntlet, you have the Q slows on top of just the Azir Sand Soldiers. Then you have Gragas that if he's not getting a belly bop on you, his sweaty belly hitting your face, then he could throw the the cask as well. There's so much that you have to fear on the side of JD. The Suning Gaming are going to have to focus on protecting their major carry.
I don't think that we should assume that Gragas doesn't use deodorant. I think this guy has great personal hygiene.
Look, the sun is beating on the Rift at all times.
And in
it's never
Shanghai.
nighttime.
Maybe he lives in Shanghai. In that case, I wouldn't blame him.
Yeah. I'm looking at that portrait right now, and it's fairly sweaty.
I don't know how much I agree with you, Brads, but what we should be agreeing on as we are heading into our second game into the e-commerce wars. Jingdong versus Suning. I'm ready for some Jingdong chants. I think that's the first time in my life that I've ever heard a chant or a, shall we say, ringleader challenge the JD manager.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you have to. JD are respectful opponents. There'd be times where people, maybe the chants go a little bit too wild. Somebody tries and step on the other guy's toes.
Yep. Someone shouts RNG.
That's true.
Yep.
It's a cheap shot. But not JD. They know that the power of their ringleader's voice is good enough to carry through.
Strike hard and true.
And it's in a game, they're trying to match it. They did a good enough effort. It was good enough, but still an 8 out of 10 in comparison to JD's 10 out of 10.
Oh, yeah, I think they've gone past that. They're like an 11 out of 10 at this point. At some point, I want to actually see people square up in the middle on stage. The two ringleaders, toe to toe.
That would make a
mouth
great
to
segment.
mouth. Not mouth to mouth. That implies something different. The English language, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a look at the keystones. We're going to have double Kleptomancy, one from Loken, one from Zoom on the side of JD.
The one that called out to me was the Yoon picking up Airy on the... Good lord, what is his name? Rakan, thank you very much. Got it. Nailed it.
First time.
So Rakan, of course, does have a bit of poke in his queue. It's apparent. Also, if he goes straight towards the AP route, or at least just a little bit, I just mean in terms of picking up the support item.
Steady on.
The heal is pretty nice. So there's a lot you can get out of just AP values. Very likely going to be benefiting Fury here.
Yeah, that's the hope. I'm just watching these two mid laners go at it. Yeah, every opportunity that Yagao even sees places down Sun Soldier, not for farming, but for hitting. And hitting Angel in that mid lane.
And that's what you expect out of the matchup. This is why we see more people picking Azir into the Orianna. In this case, it was Orianna into Azir. I think that the only case is because they just rounded out the composition. It's great Orianna ball on towards Camille, and the engages are there. You can say the same thing for protecting the Kai'Sa. So there are a million ways of using the Orianna. But in this case, he said that he recognized the range disadvantage in the mid lane, but he's trying to play around it.
Oh my, this could be dangerous. Clockwork Windup will start to ramp up in damage, but he does get a lot of damage in return onto Angel. Hacker is waiting in the wings. It just needs one auto attack, instant flash away. He knows he cannot take a precision protocol.
Really smart from Hacker to not blow his own flash. He knew he was going to get the flash of Yagao, and that costs Yagao the rest of the lane unless if Click could do something about it here.
Yeah, he's moving in to within combat range, but Hacker, he's here and actually playing towards top side. Yeah, here comes Gragas, takes a swig of his barrel, but choosing whether to go in or not. That's a lot of damage onto the enemy jungler, but now Angel is going to be walking him back to the tower, forced to flash away. Now he can burn his flash, but he's underneath the tower. That tower shot comes in, not going to happen. Angel tanks it for him, and that will be first blood to Suning.
And you know what Clid did there?
What's that, Raz?
He pulled the proper Raz play, man. He came in there and hard into that one.
Yep.
So it was good up until he body slammed for the damage. Why are you body slamming for the damage? You're not going to follow up for a kill. You know that you're there to defend Yagao in that place. It was Hacker and Angel that played that one out so respectfully, and they're saying, yeah, we're going to push it in and then base. That's all we're going to do because we know that you're stronger in this situation. He overplayed the situation, overplayed his cards, lost out so much, and now Yagao is already in a bad position, now in a worse position.
Really just disastrous right there. It's going to be 21 to 21 in terms of farm, but he is flashless in the mid lane. Angel has his own. Top lane. Okay, we're looking for some respite here. Is it going well for Gangplank? Well, he's equal on farm into this now. That's very good. And he's also got the Kleptomancy. But here comes Hacker.
We've got you surrounded.
Come out with your hands up.
I'd say
I'm hacking the defense system as we speak.
Got nowhere to go.
Oh, here comes the teleport. The cavalry's arriving, but the Hacker's in, and he already takes out Zoom, and I'm out. I'll see you later, nerd.
Get away from me.
You think I'm a nerd because I'm called Hacker? You were the nerd.
There we go. The fun thing about Camille, and it's not so fun for the laners, is the fact that you can tank that one extra tower with the precision protocol. I think that's what it's called. The passive on your, the passive on her, where she gets the
Adaptive defense.
Oh no!
Precision protocol is the Q, mate.
Yeah, I know. I knew I was somewhat wrong. That's why I turned to my play-by-play to
That's all good. I got you back.
bat me down. But yeah, so the extra passive you get, especially if you're hitting a physical damage top lane, and you're like, yeah, sure, tower's not going to do too much for me. Didn't even need to. In fact, it was Gnar that picked up the tower aggro. So it was just that easy. Less than half HP Zoom.
Yeah, smacked him. Another kill to Sune. I mean, again, we said this in Champions League, but Hacker, he's a type of man who's very happy when he's on the aggressive, you know? Last game I felt like it was Clid who was all over his jungle, but now Hacker, when he's ahead, he'll gank mid, he'll gank top, he's now got 2 kills, and both solo lanes are now doing really well for themselves.
Yuga has to play scared because of that very fact. I mean, losing his flash, before the kill even happened, I said he lost the lane because the way he wins the lane is by trading, by forcing trades, by literally just throwing sand soldiers in front so he can get the full proc on his airy, auto attack, slows on towards Angel. But now Angel can push the lane, he doesn't have to worry about that.
Oh, now double taunt coming through. That's going to be the Gangplank ultimate from the top lane as well. Fury trying to return with the damage, but it's just all going to be blocked out by the Spirit's Refuge. Nice kill coming in a 2 vs 2 from JD. Clid just pokes his head out, or pokes his belly out, I guess. Doesn't find the kill. Another kill back over to JD.
Yeah, they smell the sweat, mile away. Knew that they had to just back away from the situation, but great double taunt from Shen. At this point, Mao and Loken taking a lot of control in the lane. It's great too. I mean, they needed that. You're in a position right now where you're losing out in both top and mid lane. So just having that one breath of fresh air gives JD a fighting chance.
Yeah. You say what you will about, you know, Clid's personal hygiene, but I reckon that he conditions that beard. You see how lustrous that beard is? He probably orders that one off Sune.
He has a lot of oil to spare.
That's going to be an ultimate. Calm down, folks. That's all good. Gnar in the lane phase, just going to use his ult for clearing a wave and harass damage, and now pushes in this entire wave. And this is going to be really annoying for Zoom, who just wants to farm. Clid, he's into the mid lane.
Ooh, they were playing around it. I think they know that the ward is there. You can see how Lumao played into the wave, or at least into the bush. So, don't know how the Gragas did getting into the bush. That being said, you can already see the pings being put on that ward. So I'm just saying, they called it out. They knew it was there. But to your point, Zoom getting pushed in by the multiple waves, doesn't have the wards to call out if Camille's top lane or not. I know you know this very well, but for reasons that you can, you know, aspire to, that you know very well, top laners, very paranoid.
Yeah.
All of them are paranoid.
No, that's not true.
They're all paranoid. At the very least, the GP player is paranoid.
Oh yeah, GP, 100%.
He died once before, and he's like, this is a massive wave. There has to at least be 3 people in the area that pushes me off this lane. I mean, there's good reason for it.
It really is. Hackers on a top lane place down of wards. He should be paranoid.
I'm not seeing things, I swear, team.
Yeah. Look at the VOD. Take a look afterwards. Of course, Raz is referring to the fact he tried to jump scare me earlier in the green room. He was stood behind the door, and I looked behind the door.
You're a paranoid human being.
I'm not. I have great map awareness.
Not a single person.
Don't face check. I'm a well-trained top laner.
Not a single person has jump scared you since coming to China. Not one.
0.
And
Absolutely
you somehow decide.
How many times have people tried? 64 times. No. Not a single time have I been scared. And that's what Zoom's doing, yeah? He's a well-trained top laner, Raz.
That's true. He opens the door and always looks
behind it.
Yep.
That's what you should do at home as well, folks. Not just in-game, but in real life as well, because there could always be a Razzleplasm waiting for you.
Or worst case, a killer.
Oh, or one on the same.
With knives for legs.
Yeah, and name's Hacker. Oh, shout out. Now he's playing paranoid. See, he's good top laners, Raz.
These are good top laners.
They know when things are coming their way.
They're good top laners.
Yep. I will say it's pretty difficult for Gragas to hide behind a door, to be honest.
People call it spider senses, but honestly, Spider-Man himself just is ridiculous paranoia.
In fact, he learned from top laners in League of Legends. You know, people talk about the Spidey senses. In fact, top lane sense. Oh, that's going to be a follow-through. We don't talk about that.
Good follow-up damage from Angel.
The Shurima Int.
So you kind of expect that. He was actually at a great range too, so there is a hunch that he wouldn't have been swept over if he didn't flash, but just makes it known. He just throws the flash out there because worst case scenario, he gets clipped by it. Does come from behind you as an Azir, so it actually has an extended range there. So just knowing that going up against Azir, you don't want to just lose the game based off of disrespecting Flash.
Yep.
Okay, I'll back out. I'm winning the lane anyways. So
That's
just
the thing.
recognizing it.
The Emperor's Divide has a funky hitbox sometimes.
Yes,
Sometimes
it
you'll
does.
just get clipped by one of the soldier's legs and you're like, hang on. That guy definitely does leg day.
Yes, he does. And honestly, that's why if you're an Azir player,
Yep.
in this case, you guys played enough games thus far that I'm gonna call him an Azir player. You have a full idea of your range on ultimate. That's why Angel's like, I'm pretty sure I have the range here, but he's played enough.
He
Azir
probably
games.
knows, yeah.
He knows something I don't. Like, I'm gonna play my cards right. I'm just gonna press the F button.
Yep.
Oh, he has it on D! Just kidding, he's gonna press the D button.
D for Slash.
Made it.
Yep, Hacker is going to pick up the dragon. It's going to be an Infernal at that one as well. And the next one is going to be another Infernal. Lovely. That's what you like to see if you're Suning, especially when you've got control around that area.
That's how you speed up the game.
It really is. It's going to be great for those team fights.
It's going to be awful for JD. Like,
Oh, yeah.
JD was already feeling the pain from the early ganks that came through from Hacker, the pressure they put topside. Now you know you're going to have to play to this. So, losing out the first Infernal is fine, but knowing that it's going to stack into a second one means that very likely you're now playing into potentially 3 Infernal Dragons. You have to contest the second one. You just can't leave it to be. So, it just plays into Suning's composition really well.
Especially when you're looking for scaling, you know, at the same time. It's just like, haha, it's fine. We'll wait until the 35-minute mark and then Suning rock up with triple Infernals and Elder Dragon. You're like, damn. Doesn't matter what they're running, they're still going to hit like a truck.
They all do damage too. This is legitimately a quadruple threat. And I'm going to put in a Rakan just because he's building a little bit of that AP. That is ultimate, like his full kit with a double/triple Infernal is good enough to be known as a threat. Putting that out there. This is nasty.
I remember the short stint that was AP Rakan.
Yep.
That was horrifying, but also fantastic at the same time. Shout outs to all those AP Rakan players. I've got a bit of an invade here from JD. I'm actually going to send a couple members towards top side. I'm going to place down some wards,
Rakan has some scary scaling. I'll just put that out there. Like, big thing, of course, is just the high cooldowns on spells. So ultimate W means that you're committing fully. So if you're committing, you know you have to get a lot of damage across, get the full burst across. Which fine if you're AP mid lane, you need the proto belt to get the extra bit of damage as well.
Yep.
But you know, your support, so you're not there for the damage. The chunk is nice, but the heal is even better. So just putting this out, a lot of damage is going to be coming out of it. Double Infernal. Maybe even more, because Zoom is so paranoid right now.
He is.
The lane gank, and he has to respect that too.
That man checks behind his doors.
Every single door. He sees that mouse hole beside the door, looks inside of it.
It's just like, are you there, Camille? Are you in that mouse hole?
He goes to sleep, he sees a figure, a shadowy figure in his closet. He knows it's a jacket deep down, but he opens the light anyway.
Just in case. Always sleep with the light on. And how many ganks has this been now where Hacker's moved to the top side?
So many!
I know, it's been like 3 or 4 now where he's moved towards top and he just can't do anything because Gangplank's just sat behind his like inhib.
The go-to strategy in solo queue is like, you know, be respectful for the first 2 to 3 ganks, but then afterwards you're fairly certain the enemy jungler is going to leave you alone. That he knows as a player he's only going to run into you at least once, and he's like, alright, this guy's played too respectfully, I'm going to go bot lane and mid lane.
Yeah.
You're fine as a top laner.
But some people just have a vendetta.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
It's like he's seen your name before. Yeah. You've done something to him in the past.
You've wronged him in a previous life.
Yep.
That's why he's going to keep on going. I bet you by the end of laning phase, Hacker will gank at least 1 more time.
It's going to have to work. At this point, he's going to bring a friend along. Angel's going to join the battle. He has blue buff, so
maybe
why not?
Maybe Yugao. Not Yugao. Yoon at this point.
Oh yeah, he is a roamer. He finds those opportunities.
Ooh, and Zoom's used teleport. It's right for a gank, Raz.
It's going to happen. Look at Camille, going topside, typical jungler. It's like, you know what? I have a bottom lane that's doing alright. You can have engage off the Rakan ultimate. I'm going to go away from him. For only run reason. It could
top lane gang.
Could be a Rift Herald, but you mean.
Nah. He'll pick up Raptors and then half top.
Oh yeah, let's see where he goes.
I reckon.
I'm telling you right now. Oh, is he going bot side?
Nah.
No.
Commit to the play. I've ganked top 4 times. The 5th time's the charm. That's the saying.
There is literally
try again. That's the saying.
Oh wait a minute. Where's Rakan? Is he bringing Rakan? I'm just saying.
You just said this, Raz.
Look, I'm just saying. I know it's happening.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to give him literally any other path. Saying that you could do anything. You pad towards bottom lane. Or you can just go for the top lane gank once again.
Stop. He's underneath the tower.
He's not even bringing Rakano line. He said go back to the bottom lane. It would make it too obvious.
I've got this. That's a long skill shot.
I'm so invested in this.
Me too. We're both just watching it on the minimap. He's still. This has been 10 minutes in the making. All right, and he's gone back to base. Zoom's gone. He's out. No, oh no, he stopped his recall. Now is the time.
He's faked his base too many times. They know that he's going to be there.
Yeah.
Just go for it.
5th time's the charm. Let's go, baby. Hacker jumps away because he's taken tower aggro, and Xiao Ao walks away and has to flash. Oh no!
The greatest miscommunication of all time. Hacker E-ing in, saying, actually, I don't think so. But Xiao Ao is already committed to the play.
That's exactly how I wanted that chapter to end.
Yes, that is the best end to that chapter. You move on, you're like, all right, let's see if anything happens now.
Yeah. Everyone will think back to the first 10 minutes of the second game of Suning Gaming and JD.
I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Yeah, me too. Oh, Clid forwards. Look at that combo coming through. He's going to lock down Clid. He's going to die right there. And Yoon turn this one around though. Mal goes golden as Shaddy's still slamming this tower. It goes down. There's going to be a 1-for-1 trade in the jungle. This bot tower falls. Shelly came in for a charge. I examine that crime scene investigation right there. It's all good. And in the end, 1-for-1 and towers traded.
Yeah, they give up so much. Even, of course, the massive chunk in the inner tower. Just for the fact that Xayah stayed bot side a little bit longer to actually get a tower trade across. So, I mean, that's usually, if you're Fury in this case, you'd want him to come back to mid lane. On the off chance that they continue the dive, now remember the Azir can actually continue that siege. He has the passive to be able to now use the turret mid lane. He did it, but they didn't try for another wave or another tower based off that pressure. They just based and let the wave push back.
It's the second Inferno, and Raz, you told me that JD, they need to contest this.
Contest it.
Here comes Clid over the wall, comes in with the secure. That's a great taunt coming out of Mao as well. Here comes Loken following through, and you've got the rest of the team coming in, but they are very late to the play because Fury, Catherian Rain comes through, but he commits very hard. Cosplaying LWX right there. Oh! The Emperor's Divide on to Suning Gaming. Ezreal ultimate clips Hacker on the way out.
That was full Kanye. He just scooped them right into his team. That was insanity, committing the flash. Now, they didn't get any added kills on that one. But at the end of the day, that's just JD taking full control. Hacker, please.
Do a barrel roll.
Just stop it. What is happening here?
Oh, and he dapped on him.
Hacker has probably had the most annoying early game I've ever seen in my life.
He brought that upon himself.
He did. He lost a lot for that top lane commitment. I think an MVP should just happen at 18 minutes into the game, and it's on Zoom.
Yep. Most paranoid man in existence.
It benefited him. He succeeded based off that.
This tower's still alive.
Yeah,
it's almost dead, but it's still alive. With all of that pressure, Zoom places down the ultimate, but here comes Yoon to double down on his play. But Shen's already here right now, and Xiao Ao, he's very low. He looks to back away. Wallop flashed away from Zoom with the outplay. Parlay! Nah, that's going to be a kill over to me.
Cuts him down. You had the extra friend in mind as well, bringing in the Shen. Shen ulti, remember, he can join in whenever he wants to. So Zoom is sitting sky high at this point, could even commit to this top lane outer turret. Really the only outer turret that's just getting a call on. JD should commit the extra members.
They will indeed find themselves yet another tower. This will be their 4th tower. And JD really just spiraling out of that jungle. Are now in a fantastic place for themselves. I remember not too long ago, the Azir was in a terrible place, as was the top lane. But all that has been resolved now, and JD with the scaling comp have managed to weather the Suning Gaming storm in a very good situation.
Yeah, this is a great spot for them now. Getting to this point in the game now. Take a look at this. This is the dragon fight. Remember, Gnar didn't have access here. Great steal from Clid to begin with. Had a lot of damage just based off being AP Gragas alone execute onto Fury, but also just the damage that they got in the Infernal. So they were well and prepared for this, but boom! Bop! There's no POW, unfortunately, just because, like, Sure, they get Angel, but the rest of them can clear out. Oh my god.
Right into another fight right here. Yoon's already dead. Comes with the ultimatum right there. Hacker jumps away. Clid goes golden. Loken over the wall. It's a big shockwave coming through, but Loken is starting to clean up this fight. Fury moves forwards, finds one. On the backside, it's a battle of the AD carries, but Fury has no team left around him, and he cannot put up the damage to deal with the quadra kill Loken.
And double buff on top of that. Good lord. I mean, at this point, Suning Gaming, knowing that it should be a game 3, just based off of how well JD's playing in this early point in the game, how much they're snowballing on top of the Irish Point Gauntlet, Ezreal. This is getting insane. I'd say the only pipe dream they have is a Baron steal, but at this point, we saw what happened in game 1. These teams aren't going to make it a 50-50. They're not going to allow it to happen.
No, they will not. 21 minutes. The amount of action we've had in this game is absolutely absurd. And JD, they're actually 5,000 gold ahead right now. 4 towers to 1. Top towers being sieged in by minions alone. We can actually see the setups for that fight. It was a trap coming in from JD.
Just 2 members to start it off, which is important to say. That you thought it was going to cost Clid's life. It ended up doing that, but he's lasted a lot longer just because he had the stopwatch in tow. And Fury even brought in a lot of deeps, but at the end of the day, rest of the JD squad comes in hot. Coming in late means that Loken can provide the damage, doesn't lose anything at the very start of it, so incredibly healthy to go in there. So, well done for them. He still doesn't have the Blade of the Rune King either, very close to it, and that's when his damage just goes off the charts.
Yeah, the AD carries have really just been turning up in this series. Quadra kill to Fury in game 1, quadra kill to Loken in game 2. As I said, yeah, moving towards that Blade of the Rune King, but still 2 items, quite big. Oh, Xiao Ao, yeah, he sees the opportunity, gonna come with the third hyper proc, and he's got the whole family here to kill Zoom. Slams him against the wall, Fury gets the kill. Nice pick there by Suning, but on the top side, the split push to Zia.
Yeah, Suning committed a lot to that naturally because they want to find those windows to get back into the game, but there's not a lot to get in the bottom side of the map. For them to just get that 1 kill, commit so much to do it. Like, you look towards the bottom side of the map, you're like, maybe mid lane tower, but it's not in the right position. Yep. And so, JD are like, okay, let's just get your gal in the top lane turret. Actually, it just turns into a trade after all is said and done.
A good trade, if you JD as well. Tower for a kill. We'll take that any day of the week.
Yeah, just take a look at the investment. 10 seconds back for GP, and you know that the top lane tower is just going to be pushed a little bit more, so you can now play towards Baron. So Baron game is going to be stronger in JD favor because of that trade.
Yeah, well, the one thing that that Suning actually have in their back pocket is the fact that Xiao Ao has teleport, and Zoom does not. That being said, Loken has teleport, so if they really wanted to send someone to bot lane, it could be him.
That'd be a little bit janky.
It would be very janky.
It'd be weird. So it's better to have Zoom clear a few waves out and start leaning towards mid lane, so whenever it comes towards a Baron setup, that he can be there. But it just depends, because at this point they could play it extra safe, know that you have half your TP just coming up for Zoom. You'd only really have to wait 2 more minutes, so you can just be that respectful and say, you know, we'll wait 2 minutes for a Baron play. We're in a position where we can just consistently clear waves and look for minions, for items on.
Yeah, it's not like we scale down. We've got a Gangplank, a Zia, and Ezreal as well. It's like we're totally fine when it comes to the scaling department. Move on to Dragon. It's going to be a Mountain Dragon as well, which even helps the play if you're looking for 2 minutes into the future. Be able to kill the Baron even faster. So you have this one.
We're just talking 2 minutes too. I mean, getting the Dragon, just looking for a Rabadon's Death Cap on towards your gal. Loken can finish up his Blade of the Rune King. Like, those are when you're really fight ready. I say that, but it seems like they're just setting up for blue. Bringing up a lot of Sand Soldiers. You can only bring 4 with that.
Yep. Bring out the Janitor as well. Run out soldiers. Top tower goes down. Nice little pick up there for Suning. Though it's actually in the turret that's being sieged here. That's a great barrel coming through onto Xiao Ao. Knocking him towards the team, but he's about to go Mega. Lands a big Gnar ultimate, goes golden. And here comes Hacker into the backline, assassinates the Gragas. He's ticking down, but he also gets the shield coming in from Yoon. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade jungler for top lane, but the tower ultimately goes to JD.
Yeah, and they can continue on to the next tower too. At this point, Hacker needs to hit the base and come back to the map. So these are a lot of members missing from Suning.
Zoom stepping up, there's still a minion there, allowing Loken to put an extra bit of damage onto the tower. Plasma comes through, but blocked by the Banshees from Yagao. And the minion wave a long ways off, so I'm expecting JD probably to back away, sweep through the jungle, probably pick up red buff as well, but still a successful push coming in from Jingdong.
Well, there we go. I mean, it's only getting better for the JD at this point in time. TP is very close for Zoom, so at this point in time, in fact, just send him bottom lane. And it's going to be on Sin and Gaming to find anything topside. They're actually already here just to place down and clear the wards. Make it a little bit harder for JD once they come back on the side of the map.
Completely clearing
Really
away.
want to get out of it.
Yeah, I don't know. Logan, yeah, probably just going to pick himself up mid lane wave. He was pathing towards red, but he saw the juicy minions. Now he's kind of by himself, though. He's got Shen behind him, and soon in gaming, they see him. All sat in the bush.
Oh, here
When
we go.
in doubt, surprise him.
Nice ward you guys have given me. Wait a second. It's always my favorite, the decision the supports make. Should I clear this ward? This has to be a trap.
Yeah.
I see nobody, but that's 3 gold for me, and I'm a bit gold scarred.
That's one of the best things you can do in solo queue, is you place down a control ward in front of someone, and they're just like, huh, a control ward all by itself. More often than not, that player will go up and try and kill it, because they see a ward and they want to kill it.
My favorite minigame, if I'm like really far ahead, I'm on like on Ezreal or something, then I just place a ward when I'm pushing up bottom lane tower, if I'm like really shoving up to them. Make it so they end up auto-attacking the ward. Obviously, they're sitting still when they're doing it.
Yeah.
Bah!
Smack them.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big thing when you're minion trading. So you want to hit people in between their wind up and wind down, which means that you get an easy skill shot or anything like that. It's kind of the Draven principle, but you know, to an extreme. But yeah, everyone likes hitting wards for some reason. It's like bubble wrap. You know, people always like popping bubble wrap. Always one more ward. But that ward had Raz behind it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It's
Behind that door.
It's definitely a soothing experience for everybody except for Graves and Jhin. Like, you can just hit that ward, unless if you're a really slow attack speed champion. And you'd be fine with it.
You know, control wards used to have 5 hit points.
Oh,
Yeah. And it was literally changed because of Jhin and Graves. Because Graves would empty 2 clips and be like, bummer.
Yeah, we gave champions ammunition. And you know what would be hilarious if a new champion
If
came
Jhin
out?
could count to 5.
Well, that's true as well. But if you get a new champion where you have to go back to base to buy ammo, I'm telling you, every split is something real. And if you just got a champion that was really strong,
That ran out of ammo.
but ran out of ammo, and you're like, well, how does he auto attack if he doesn't have anything? Well, he just pistol whips the minion.
Yeah, he's got to walk up to melee range, doesn't he? That would be hilarious. I think we should do that. And this is why we're not game designers, folks. This is why we talk about the game and not design it.
I think people would enjoy it,
I think
except
so
for
too.
that specific carry. Unless if... I'm just putting my ideas out there. If he shoots somebody with the bullets that he's purchased, and it's basically a one-shot dead, like a real gun.
Like, microtransaction bullets, so some of them you can buy like expensive premium bullets.
Oh yeah, and you can send out a few RMB,
Yeah.
Canadian dollars. Like, I want $5 to be spent in this game.
Yeah.
How much money did you spend by the end of the game? About 50.
Yeah. You buy a silver bullet for the Warwick and you're like, bam!
Gotcha.
One shot from across the map.
You win the game, but you sold your soul away.
Emptied your wallet. They increased your LP. That's what matters. And now we're playing Aram in the mid lane.
What else can you do if you're sitting? I know you know that mid lane wave is gonna get pushed in repeatedly.
Yep.
Oh my god, Clit is devious.
Oh, it was actually the ward trap. It came in and Yoon almost dies to it. He's gonna survive in the end, but has to pop the ultimate in the end.
But that means no Yoon. Of course, not gonna have teleport just for this one. So if I'm JD, and if you've been playing this game for a long time, you don't want to make it 20 minutes longer based off of your inactivity. So they want to start Baron. But you can see the problem here. They're not being given the opportunity.
And this is why we joke, folks, because when you're coming to predicting the future, always go off memes. Because memes have a basis in reality. And you think I'm BSing you, but actually, by the way, 2017 Pick'em Champions for Worlds, just saying.
I still feel like you're BSing me.
Based it all off of memes. Came highest. I was in the top 0.00002%.
Yeah, that pissed me off.
Yeah.
Put that out there.
Crushed it. Top of the... I was one of 254 people, Raz.
I'd imagine right now, you know how Europe does their whole predict the games, get that out there in their social media?
Deficio and Vedes are leading right now, 55.
Well, right now
Congratulations.
it's Deficio because he got a perfect week. But what happens if Pulse is in that setting? And it's just perfectly done because he decided to 8-ball it.
100%.
Just
Like, how did you decide? 8-balled.
I 8-balled it.
Yeah.
I've rolled the dice. You'd think that would be impossible since there's just 2 options, but I have 6
They're like, well, you didn't predict anything. It's like, I'm still at the top of the leaderboard, so really, what does that mean? Oh,
You'd be that next level troll. You roll that dice and you're like, you know what, I didn't even pay attention to it, I just made a decision afterwards.
Yep. Oh, bot lane. Holy moly, Yagao just killed that 100 to 0.
He has a lot of AP error at this moment, man. Nashor's Tooth has the attack speed as well, and then of course to follow up the Rabadon's Death Cap, he's completed it. Don't know how Sun and Gaming can come back into this one, quite honestly. It's all off of just that one ball in Orianna.
Uh-oh. Zoom's by himself, but he's gone golden. That completely mitigated the ultimate coming in from Hacker. Cannot believe that just happened. Hacker is beyond tilted.
That is the definition of perfect timing. You've really just nullified the play. Here we go.
Oh, but they're going to go in for the repeat engage. Yoon dies off of that one, and the shockwave ineffectual. Here comes Xiao Wao, and he's got the Guardian Angel, so he'll go down. But the team really needs to follow through. Hacker blocked up by the Gragas, and Loken, he's hunting, he's chasing, but now he's not with the team. They back away. Hacker moves towards the mid lane, and Loken low on this one. Plasma land, Fury, you know what to do. It's going to be the kill out from Angel. Zoom flashes forward and parlays the Orianna to death.
Loken has to feel a little bit frustrated, but he knows that his team coming out of this one at the end of the day, going in for the kill, so confident, knowing that JD had the win throughout that fight. Here we go, can Fury do anything?
He's fast and he's furious, but can he put out the damage? The Acafian Rain comes through, it forces Zoom back, knockup comes in from Yoon. He only hits the minions, but he's still pushing forwards. Fury gets one, looks for the second, they're focusing onto the Nexus. Mao behind the Nexus, Fury with another, walks up, Zoom shuts him down. Yoon with the knockup, buying time. Rakan versus Gangplank, and Gangplank comes out on top. We are going to game 3.
This is when you look towards Riot, say change the minion aggro, make them smart, know who the enemy really is, stop hitting the other minions, hit the GP at the end. Doesn't happen,
Gang up on him, get him.
That'd be a great meta
Shank
once
him.
again. Take my ideas for sure.
Yeah, a champion who can control the minions.
But great victory here for JD to answer it, going on to a game 3. Super well done. The early game was all in their court. I
still can't get well, that's a weird goal graph. That looks like a sine graph.
Yeah, it does.
That's cosine, yeah, and sine. Wonderful. I just can't get over the end of that game. Gangplank against the Nexus as Fury is just trying to murder everyone. Incredible.
It was fun. I mean, take a look at the gold graph. One thing to make certain is that Sun and Gaming did have control of this one. Based off the composition alone, the second Infernal Dragon, by all means, they should have been able to take it. And I'm going to put a lot of the blame on Hacker in this situation because he tried super hard to go top lane, actually didn't even bring Angel along. I think if he had ganked mid lane a little bit more frequently, he had the lead there. Yep, based off the early game gank, the problem with Clid is essentially losing his life, throwing it all away in the mid lane. There were so many opportunities there for Hacker, and it felt like he threw it all away in a gambit to get the dive top lane, and then he second-guessed it at the end.
He spent so long in top lane. That was like the first 15 minutes of the game. He got one, and he was just like, I know where to go, top lane. And goes 5 more times. We counted them. We followed his entire adventure, top lane.
In the meantime, it was a farming Clid. He got himself, which was taking the control of the game back, of the Rift Herald, and they just ran it through mid. I felt really good from Clid in terms of regaining control of the game because for him, he was behind in a bad matchup as well. So a lot of that, you look at that composition, you're like, that's not that. I mean, you're in a bad start on top of a worse start.
Yep.
And he was able to reclaim it just by playing patiently, understanding the situation that he was in, and of course, the control ward on the Rift Herald itself, so he's able to take it securely. There are some instances where you'd say that you're losing a lot of HP on Rift Herald. Camille's pathing topside. In other universes, the Camille would check. But regardless of it, he understood the risks that he had to take. He took the risk, and he ended up getting a lot of control back in that game.
He did, 100%. You know, you also got to say props to Zoom in the top side because he was unbelievably paranoid. But again, always be paranoid if you're a top laner because in this case, indeed, the jungler was there like 6 times.
100%.
So he didn't stop after 2 or 3. And if he walked up to that tower, he was dead.
And if I were you, every single one of you, don't check who's behind you right now. I'm just putting it out there.
It's Vincent and Rita.
That's true. But I mean, in terms of just, these are great lessons to take from both top laners, the necessary information they had. And remember, you're going up, you're Gangplank. Gangplank.
Gangplank.
Sometimes it feels like that. Where you're Gangplank and you're going up against the Gnar, getting pushed in repeatedly, losing trade so often. A great thing, a great tactic that he's doing, if you look back on it, is just that he was basing so often, or at least not finishing his base, but channeling it just so he would force the enemy Gnar to always push up so he can get the minion wave underneath. They were such large minion waves, but he was able to get it securely while always under the threat of dive. So I felt like really well played from Zoom. I hope he gets MVP.
He deserves it.
Yeah, he does. Because he was a little bit wounded. At the very least, got a Purple Heart. But he should get more medals. Stack them.
100%. And I will say that I think this is really what the tenacity is built off of, if you're JD.
I'm upset. I don't like that. He played well. But give it to Zoom. I don't know, man. I don't like it. I peaked. My producer's probably unhappy about that, but I was wondering.
That's unbelievable. I can't believe it. I mean, it's because he got the Quadra. You know, in game 1 we got the Quadra coming out of Fury. He gets the Quadra in this one. It's just like, play was great. You know, I feel like Fury earned it a little bit more than he did, but still, really nice coming out from him.
And so this was, of course, started off with a Gragas. You look at the positioning of Loken here, really well done, because if Suning commit to the play in which they are forced to do so, then he's just going to be able to get the free pot shots in there. So, I mean, he played the fights as well as you would expect from Loken in the summer split.
There you go, off the backside. And Fury also played that team fight very well as well. It was just unfortunate that his front line just disintegrated in front of him, which is unfortunate. But he cleaned up all of the kills. He was on janitorial duty, and boy, did he do a good job. There was not a single part on that floor that was dirty after he was finished with it.
Squeaky clean.
Yeah, apart from him, because he died and his blood was all over the floor again. But apart from that, squeaky clean. But again, that is the big part of JD. The fact that they can always just bounce back. You know, that is a huge part of JD and how they come back into the split. Is because they're 12-2.
Yeah.
They've won most of these series, most of them in 3 games as well.
Yeah, I'm doing really well. And I think that one player to always back him up, happens in the previous games, but also especially in this one is Yagao. I felt like Yagao as a player in this series alone, even though a lot of the highlights were either in top lane or AD carry, Yagao and the sweep that he was able to have in the blue side jungle, 3-man hit, I felt like his Azir is always a pick that you have to respect. So real well done from him in this game. I always enjoy his Azir play, even when he was behind. Thought that he played behind well. So good job.
Yeah, good job for him, 100%. But I really want to know how this series ends. Because remember, this is the e-commerce wars as well, and it's meant to be day of the Suning. But now we're a match point. So it's like, what's actually going to happen? Who's going to be winning this one? I don't know. Who do you think it's going to be, Raz?
Oh my goodness. It should be JD. It should be JD. I'm going to give it to JD.
You're going to say JD? Oh, I don't know at this point. I kind of want to say it soon. Well, I'm going to say it soon. I think Suning going to take it. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll be here with more League of Legends.
让我们把故事传唱下去，继续书写 RNG 的传说。